The appropriate response to the question of who should succeed Logan Roy can be found in the series finale. The selection of Shiv Roy's successor as CEO was essentially a dispute between Kendall Roman and Logan Roy after his death in Season 4 of Succession. After various turns, double-crossings, and deceptions, since the pilot the Squanderer Roy Go board is united to decide on whether the Gojo bargain goes through. Depending on the salts, Kendall Roy or Shiv's husband Tom Wunskins will take over as CEO at the very end of the succession. Despite the fact that Shiv floated separated from Kendall and Roman all through most of Progression Season 4, when it was uncovered in the finlay that Lucas Matson had picked Tom, all things considered, the three most youthful Roykin were finally joined on major areas of strength for A. As the meeting votes are tallied, Shiv leaves the room without casting the crucial vote, resulting in his 6-6 deadlock. The choice made by the kin in the adjoining room, which is the climax of their long-held complaints, mysteries, and vulnerabilities, characterizes the new course for Squander Aroko and the president. Kendall expresses her disbelief that Shiv would make a good CEO, especially considering that he denies his involvement in the death of a waiter at Shiv's wedding. At the conclusion of the succession, Shiv enters the meeting and votes for the Gojo deal. Kendall expresses her disbelief that Shiv would make a good CEO. This action effectively puts an end to Kendall's hopes of becoming CEO in Succession Season 1 and makes Tom Wungins the new CEO. Because Lucas Matson offered the job to Shiv's husband rather than Skiff herself. Presently the Squanderer, Gojo is in charge of Royco. Without having to comply with the wishes of others, Tom can establish his new empire. The series finale of Progression demonstrates that not all Roys are failures, as Greg is affirmed to remain in the group and Tom and Shiv should be visible driving out connected at the hip, in a scene near the end. However, the fact that Shiv is pregnant with her unborn child means that the business can continue to uphold Logan's legacy without actually putting Shiv or one of her siblings in charge. As a result, Lucas's intention to appoint Tom as CEO of Wasta Royco was always contingent on his ties to the Roy family. Tom's years of betrayal and loyalty have paid off by giving him control of the company, even though he will be held accountable for Lucas's mistakes and for Waster's good and bad choices. Despite the fact that Kendall, Roman, and Shiv all had the name Roy, not even one of them might have supported the business. The Roys, like Tom, had too many obstacles in their way for them to succeed as CEO. Shiv points out that Kendall had attempted to kill Logan and killed a child without facing any repercussions. Coop was denied the position in light of the fact that Mencken didn't figure a lady ought to be president and Lucas needed to lay down with her, and Roman was considered excessively delicate to take the position due to his past way of behaving. By the time the vote came around in the Succession series finale, none of the Roy children would have been allowed to continue Waster in their father's name. Tom had been rising through Waster's ranks for years, despite Shiv's admission that True first heard of him through his ruthless business practices. In the Succession Season 3 finale, Tom betrayed Shiv, establishing his reputation as Logan's heir by demonstrating that, rather than being left at the bottom, he would do anything for success. The conclusion of Succession demonstrated that Tom was the only one who fought skillfully and dishonestly enough to be Logan's legitimate successor, despite the fact that he had long fought the Roys and been ridiculed for his lofty goals. Boat might not have been named chief in that frame of mind of progression. Yet, by holding the organization's future, she leads the show with fundamentally more impact over Waster than Roman and Kendall. The couple's claim to the Waster kingdom as a continuation of Logan's bloodline was strengthened by the fact that Tom was married to Shiv and had a child on Wave. Roman suggests that Tom serving as CEO would still allow the Roy bloodline to continue at Waster through Shiv's child, even though Tom did not have the Roy name. To protect Logan's name and family and power, Tom needs Shiv and